Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome to the Real Crypto Power Hour, where we will see Bitcoin fall like a rock. Not necessarily. Hello, everyone. So I have some bad news to report, and I'm probably going to do an actual video after the Power Hour here. Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin is below the 200-day moving average, and if I may be quite frank with you, I'm not anticipating us seeing this level again for a while. So, 6K again, pharmacist asks. Yes, I do think we're going to 6K. It's actually the rational point for this particular chart pattern to go down to, irregardless of whatever low we had over here. Irregardless of whatever low we had. So Polyakov asks, are we going to 10K first, or are we going down? We're going down. This was our chance to go higher. We would go higher off of this base. Probably our last bastion of opportunity to bounce is at this low over here at the 8,300 level. If that gets taken out, then we're definitely going lower. But this, in between these two areas here, pretty much where we broke down, this whole basing area is our chance to go higher. If it won't go higher here, we're not going higher. All right, PCS Poly wants to feel good about himself. What about the log scale? Sure, let's look at the log scale. Big difference. Big difference there on the log scale. The log scale doesn't give you any great different perspective, to be quite frank with you. It's the same chart pattern, just viewed in a different perspective. You're going to go ahead and get the same results on log scale as you do with the standard scale. I mean, literally, there's no difference. It's just how it looks, but the numbers are still the same. So MJ Energy is a fib guy and wants me to throw up a fib. Let's throw up a fib. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Real Crypto Power Hour. This is a preview of something I'll be starting next week, where we will discuss active trading strategies, overall trading strategies, pretty much anything you guys want to ask me specifically about trading, any positions you have, any potential plans you want to have to invest or trade. Whatever you guys really want to discuss, but preferably very pointed to trading and less in generalities. That's my specific. That's really what we're trying to do here with the Power Hour. So here's the fibs he's thrown up. Came down pretty close to the 61 level, not quite exactly, and bounced up here, closed by the 38, and then dropped here again. Did I miss your question, or was it just a silly question? I read that due to expiration of CBOE futures, Bitcoin might spike up later. Your thoughts? I don't necessarily think that's the case. The CBOE futures has nothing to do with the general market right now. It's too of an immature market. There's not enough volume. It also doesn't settle into Bitcoin. There's a lot of things going on here. I'm in Bitcoin right now and I want to gain more. Should I sell now? Those two things, Andre, don't necessarily correlate with each other. If you want Bitcoin, why would you sell Bitcoin? If it hits 6K double bottom, does that indicate a bull run? Well, if it goes down to 6K and double bottoms, it could indicate an end to the downside. Yes. The key there is it has to form a bottom. Okay? It has to form the bottom first. So don't start counting your chickens before they hatch. If you have a theory about, this double bottoming, you just have to wait till we get down to 6K. And if you want to trade that actively, or if you want to hold that for longer term, that's fine as well. Just make sure you have a well-formed strategy. There's a line touching the bottoms at 1800, 3000, 6K and intersects current downtrend channel at 7K, and there's a fib. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. So you're talking about 18, 3000, 6K. So here's the thing with trend lines. I'm a huge massive believer in trend lines. Wholeheartedly, I believe in trend lines. This particular trend line I've actually drawn this before a really long time ago. A really long time ago I drew this trend line when we were talking about the parabolic move up. The more these trend lines break, the more these trend lines continue to break. You actually can continue with this exercise going all the way up, like so. Okay? And one thing you notice after a huge chasm like this, when the market trend shifts big, these trend lines become a little less valid. Now, it was supported here, but I don't necessarily think that's because of the trend line, although it could be, I don't know. But this particular trend line was equally as important and really was chopped up the further out we go in time. So I think it's a little less relevant over here at this particular time point than over here. And there's actually other trend lines you can draw too, even further out. But the main point here, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're broken down from the 200 period moving average. That is huge. I don't think that can be overestimated how big that is. That cannot be overestimated that we're below the 200 period moving average on the daily. That's the 200-day moving average. XMR, trade for a bounce. Let's take a peek at XMR. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, I right now, unless the chart shows differently, generally do not trade bounces while Bitcoin's bearish. So Drew says he cashed out half my crypto between 9 and 11.5 thanks to my signals. You're welcome. This is not a bounce you want to trade. Yeah, no, this is not something you trade for a bounce. I definitely would like to know specifically why you think this is a good trade for a bounce. Again, guys, this is the Real Crypto Power Hour. This is meant for real, trading strategies. Saying, is it good for a bounce isn't specific enough. Guys, let's get specific. Get to the, why do you think this is good for a bounce here? Are you looking at a specific level? Specifics, guys. This is the Power Hour. It's only an hour. Okay, it's only an hour. Now, if we get into when we do the Real Power Hour starting next week, which is a paid service, if the chat goes good, we're probably going to go longer than an hour. But right now, we're only doing an hour, so make it count. Give very specific questions with your, why do you think this is good for a bounce here? Is there a very specific reasoning for that? So, great, let's do very pointed, great questions here. So Andrea says, Sergeant Manuel, good question. What's that question? Should I sell Bitcoin now and buy at 6K? I think selling Bitcoin here is a great idea generally because Bitcoin is just weak as all hell right now. If you want to rebuy at 6K, I don't know if I'd buy at 6K. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not necessarily a power hour type of thing I'm going to cover here, but You guys are thinking too short term. You guys are okay. So I have 190 people here. I'm going to guess that about 5 of you have taken my market cycles webinar. Who here has taken my market cycles webinar? I'm actually very curious who's taken my market cycles webinar, because I'm going to guess only about 5 of you have. AJ, there you go. Ash Jones, there you go. All right. Still replaying it. Yeah, it's kind of long. it's a little long, but for good reason. Damien doesn't need to. That's fine. Not everybody needs to. So all you guys that took my market cycles webinar, what do you think of the market right now based on that webinar? Based on what you've seen in the webinar and seen in the current market, like what market cycle are we in? The overall market cycle will determine if you're going to just willy-nilly buy bounces. You don't buy every drop, you know. Damien, that's okay. I'm not sure if you guys don't need to take a market cycles. If you guys don't need to take the market cycle webinar, don't take it. But I'm just there's 200 people here now. A lot of people are very new and they're asking me very similar questions. So I gave a market cycles webinar. This is the daily chart on Bitcoin. I gave a market cycles webinar specifically for this use case scenario, so people can kind of have a large picture view of Bitcoin. Okay, and breaking these moving averages to the downside, lower lows precipitously, is a bear market. And that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about in that market cycles webinar. So I'm just trying to have people here understand that we're in a downtrend. We're definitely in a downtrend. You don't willy-nilly buy bottoms at downtrends. Now, if you want to trade that short term, that's fantastic. But I have a feeling that a lot of people here are still wanting to buy this as 6,000 as the ultimate low. And while no one knows if that's going to be the ultimate low, while no one understands if that's going to be the ultimate low, you don't just buy it off of nowhere. So Greg posted a good point about my website. So my website, I do have courses. They're on there, but they're not live. You do have to log in, but I haven't actually enabled the ability for you to log in or to even register or pay for the courses yet. Reason being is I'm developing the site myself because I can, and I'm not the best WordPress developer, but I'm using a system that automatically puts that login. Like, I don't have another option for that. So, hopefully in the upcoming week or two, I will open some courses up and the website will be a little more easy. So anyway, let's I didn't really want to go off on that tangent, but the Real Crypto Power Hour really isn't about that. I'm more than willing to educate, but buying a 6,000 bottom, you're probably still buying just another leg on the way down. Okay, you're probably still buying another leg on the way down. All right, Jared's going to talk about his current strategy. Let's talk strategy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Power Hour. Let's talk strategy. Let's get in the willy-nilly of it, okay? If you guys don't know how to trade, ask your next trading question. If you guys have a specific trading strategy, thing that you've been working around and having thoughts about, let's talk about that. Let's work through your strategies so everyone can become profitable in trading. So Johnny asked, for this power hour is not much to say other than wait and see to trade. Yeah, so trading Bitcoin to the long side is not a winning game right now. You're really basically shorting at this point. This is a market where you short, to be quite frank with you. I don't really advocate shorting for most new traders, but yeah, this is a market where kind of things short generally. So Greg says, I think the bottom will be between 26 and 3,500. When it hits 35, should you start gradually buying in or perhaps immediately buying in? That's a great question, Greg. And that's a good strategy question. I don't think that that's a bad place to be in Bitcoin, to be quite frank with you. Now, I don't mind the layering in strategy, especially towards the lower levels. Especially towards the lower levels, I really don't mind that strategy. So if that's something you want to do, kind of start layering in, that's fine. But I would let the price action guide you. Okay, I would let the price action guide you into your purchases. I wouldn't just willy-nilly purchase the second it got that low. I would actually, you can even buy after the capitulation day. To be honest with you, I would rather you buy after the capitulation day. So here's 2013. Oh, thanks, Igor. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. So here's the capitulation day in Bitcoin back in 2013. I would rather you buy after this capitulation day personally than start buying, like, say, on this leg down. Because while the target for Bitcoin is that level, it doesn't mean it can't go lower. Okay, that's the thing about picking bottoms, is you don't want to do it. Like I say 35 to 2400. I have a phobia against buying bottoms because things tend to go lower and lower and lower. But I would rather you buy after the capitulation bar or on the capitulation bar than before. Okay, do you think 4K is a good point of entry? Like I mentioned there, I think price action should lead you to a good entry point. Okay, no one's going to give you a valid number. No one. No one's going to... The people that know that valid number aren't going to tell you. So if it's true Mt. Gox Trustee can't sell anymore until September, does that change your time frame for the low? Chad is asking. You know what, that could put... Maybe that could. So here's the thing is I do have a time frame for the low, which would put it kind of late May, early June. And September is quite a ways away from there. So if you think about it, by September, we could be back up to the levels we are now, plus 6,000 to 8,000, something like that. And if we sell off there again, that could prolong any down market. We'll just have to see what happens then. The only thing you can do, guys, is trade the chart in front of you. That's all you can do. Okay, Subutari asks about BNB, says it's on a current big run. Do I think it will continue until the burn in April? Nice pointed question. That's what we're looking at here in the Power Hour. Power Hour. The Power Hour. All right, so it looks like this BNB, since we looked at it yesterday, I think we did look at this yesterday. We talked about waiting for base to set up or buying a spike low if things were good. This is a pretty decent base. If it were to break out, I'm not sure what to make of this volume, to be quite frank with you. They don't split. Sometimes if it's just a big volume jump happens like that, I think they split. But more than likely, if you're looking to trade BNB here, let's see. So you have this area right here about the 10,075, 75 level, all these lows right here, that would be an exit point for me if I were to get long this at some point. I wouldn't be buying it now. I definitely wouldn't be buying it now. If it were to spike lower, if you want to look at a lower term time frame for some bottoming volume action, which is funny because that's actually the course I'm writing today. So you see this candle right here, how it spiked on higher volume. You want to look for something like that with a big wick. You want to buy after candles like that when the uptrend kind of goes up. So you want to look for something like that. But in terms of the burn off of BNB, I'm not sure how that's going to play out, to be quite frank with you. I don't think there's consensus yet in the crypto community how that's literally going to affect the trading. Now, from a general perspective, if it reduces supply, it should create an increase in price. But that generally doesn't always happen, especially in cryptos where there's no institutions and no one values anything. It's just all speculation right now. Have you thought about taking positions in Encash? Nope. I've not thought about taking positions in Ant Cash. Wow. Lost my point. Is there a valid... was there a valid inverted head and shoulders in Bitcoin forming just like 6 hours ago? Are you talking about in the... So if you guys are going to give me questions like that, give me a time frame to look at. I can look at the hourly, 2 hour, 6 hour, 1 day, minute, 5 minute, weekly. So give me a time frame. I don't see an inverted head and shoulders right now in Bitcoin. Even if I go to the 2 hour, I doubt I'll see one. Yeah, what you're seeing right now in Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, is a bear flag continuation. So just like this is a big bear flag, this is a little mini bear flag. And this is a little mini bear flag. And this is a little bit of a bigger bear flag. Okay? This is a setup for downside action. My strategy is I have 25% of my portfolio in cash and the rest on crypto, waiting for the market to bounce back. Since if I sell now, I will lose big time. What do you think? Asks Mario. So the crypto market is in a bear market trend. Okay. What I would have you do, Mario, is go ahead and go back and watch my video that I posted several days ago about Bitcoin 2600. Go watch that video. If you're comfortable with that, by all means go ahead and hold. If you're not comfortable with that, by all means go ahead and sell. That would be my personal advice. That would be my personal advice here. So a couple more people here on the Real Crypto Power Hour. This is a preview for a service I will be launching next week, where we'll be talking very active about the markets, preferably specific price setups. I want to get really deep with you guys in terms of your strategy and answering questions like that. So if you're down big, if you want to get in, if you're looking to short, if you want to do some short-term trading, what are the types of things that you should be doing, setups you're looking at today, like that BNB trade. I'm going to have to close all my windows out here. Does that happen to anyone else on Coinigy? It's just Coinigy that I noticed that on. But that's what the Real Crypto Power Hour is meant to be for. Igor, thank you very much again for your donation, my friend. Is that you, Eli? I think that's you, Eli. Bitcoin fund manager says Bitcoin could go as low as 800. Is that realistic? I don't. Yeah, I think it's realistic. I'm just going to say that anything in the market is realistic. It's really hard to say something other than that. No one in September thought Bitcoin was going to 20,000. No one thought Bitcoin was going to 20,000. While the price analysis leads me to the 35 to 20 or 36 to 2,400 range, yes, it could drop lower in an extreme situation. Most definitely it could. Jared, very nice. I've been buying Bitcoin since 2016. Started to learn more about the charts and emotional action of the market. Sold some for profits at 17K. Jared, you're a rock star. You are a rock star. Got into mining middle of 2017. Now I'm planning. Excellent, Jared. Excellent. Roughly what percentage of the time should we expect a capitulation bar to mark the bottom? Generally, you're always going to get a capitulation bar to mark the bottom. Basically, by definition, you're going to get a capitulation bar. Now, I have seen some markets where it's a very singular bar on a smaller term time frame that marks a capitulation bar, but you will usually see some form of capitulation. It's not, it's trading. Nothing's for certain, but you generally see capitulation at all bottoms. G Square, long drive back home and you are live. My drive just got interesting. There you go, G Square. Look out for the deer. Check Bitcoin fund manager history. He's got a bad track record for scams and cons. I don't know who that is. All right, I'm being called a futter. And Josie Gonzalez says, I don't understand this. Can you elaborate? I'll be happy to answer your question if you have a question. No number one rule of Wall Street, nobody. Okay, if you're Warren Buffett, nobody knows if the stock's going up, down, sideways, or in circles. It's all fugazi. Jacob says, sorry, what is capitulation? Don't be sorry at all, Jacob. So let me show you capitulation. Capitulation by definition is your enemy giving up. All right, that's capitulation by definition. And in trading, your enemy giving up is the sellers giving up and going away. And you have capitulation volume basically indicating that all the sellers have gone. This very high volume candle is a capitulation candle. This very high volume candle is a capitulation candle. This very high volume candle is a capitulation candle. It's essentially massive volume coming in at bottoms where all the sellers that want to sell just sell it once in mass. And usually the smart money usually ends up buying it in. Ash Jones to my defense. Thank you, Ash. You call him a futter, yet in January through February he was advising people on how and when to exit the market. Thank you very much. Muhammad asks, what do I think of Wabi coin fundamentals and charts? I was looking at Wabi back when it was a thing, or back when the market was good. It's here on my favorite charts. Fundamentally, I think it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, reason number 897, never to try to catch a bottom. Never try to catch a bottom. Okay? It's just... whoa, there we go. Okay. That's why you never try to catch a bottom, ladies and gentlemen, because you never know when the bottom's going to be. You never know when the bottoms are going to be. All right, and this is trading 101. I even consider it investing 101. Josie, I'm not sure what you're pumping on my channel here, my friend, but do it again and I will ban you. When will alts recover? The alts will recover when Bitcoins recover. When Bitcoin recovers, that's basically what it's going to do. I'm sorry, there's a question on ADA. Leonard's from Ireland. Love the channel. Love crypto. Thanks, Leonard. I actually been to Ireland. My soon-to-be mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law, I guess you would call it, live in Ireland most of the year. Been there. It's very nice when it's warm and very windy when it's not. And they live on the coast, so. Johnny Beast, Ben Collins, is Mt. Gox sell-off a major factor in the downfall of the market? Also, will we ever see altcoins not directly influenced by the Bitcoin price? Well, Ben, the first thing is don't know what you're talking about, Josie. Get out of here. So ever is a very long, I'm not really going to address ever. I think in time you will see cryptocurrencies trade outside of Bitcoin, but I mean just via the general price movement, I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when that's going to be. Your other question about the Mt. Gox was a major sell-off in the market. You know what? And I think I said this in the last video, just because we now know who did some selling doesn't change anything in the markets. Just because we know who did some selling, and keep in mind, guys, this wasn't all him. Okay, if you add up all of the trading throughout, this 20,000 to 6,000 run, it wasn't. I think he sold off like 30,000 bitcoins or 50,000 bitcoins. It doesn't equal that. These Bitcoin trades are in the millions. They're in the millions. It's a lot of people selling. It's not just that. And Johnny B said, I think 800 is a bottom for Bitcoin's a bit too extreme. Too many whales around who would want to pick it up. I don't see the technicals for it right now. We'll have to see what happens when we get down there. But like, if we don't see capitulation down there and it's just rolling lower, I'm not going to put money at risk. Okay, to be quite frank with you, I put money at risk when the risk reward is extremely in my favor, and you have to do that through careful analysis, understanding of market cycles, which is what, keep in mind, guys, the only thing I have paid on my site right now, except for this upcoming Power Hour, is my market cycles webinar, because it's needed. Okay, it's needed for everyone. Everyone needs to understand market cycles. That's a timeless. You can watch that 50 years from now and it will be valid, very valid. Is there any grim possibility the coming bear market may exceed the last one in duration, 2+ years? Also, do you think the halving of Bitcoin in 2020 may have any influence on the price development? So in terms of the bear market developing past 2 years, what the analysis has led me so far to understand is that this is a quicker sell-off. This is a much quicker sell-off than the 2013 markets. So therefore, you can ascertain that it's going to be a shorter sell-off, which actually makes a little bit of sense. A lot of people have been telling me for a while now that you can't compare Bitcoin 2017 to Bitcoin 2013. You're stupid. You're an idiot. I mean, God, if I listened to those people, I just wouldn't even be doing videos anymore. And it's really funny because I always find that my bearish videos get far less views. Like recently, my view count has been cut in half. Cut in half. I mean, it's been quite dramatic because I've been very bearish on Bitcoin. People just don't want to hear it. And the sad part is those people aren't going to come back. They're not going to come back because their emotions won't let them be wrong, and they won't listen to the guy that they didn't like. So, you know, my views have been cut in half. Sorry, I was going somewhere with that. But yeah, my views have been cut in half. But the one thing that leads credence to the fact that the Bitcoin 2017, 2018 is not like Bitcoin 2013 is this time factor. I think that is the X factor. Everyone's saying it's not the same, it's not the same. Well, shut up, it is the same. But, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So while the market, we did have a parabolic run, we are going through the bear market right now, it looks to be in shorter duration, and that could be a direct effect because of how many people are involved in Bitcoin. So in that regard, it definitely could be that that is the difference, would be the duration of the bear market. We may have a shorter bear market, and then a new return to highs much sooner than, well, I won't say sooner because a lot of people thought we'd already be at 30,000 by now. But if you compare this directly to 2013, you would think this takes 2 years. As a matter of fact, when I was doing my initial videos up here above the 13,000 level, I was saying, guys, it could take 2 years. I was saying that. You can go back and watch the videos. But now that we're further along in the cycle and we have a completed third leg to the downside here, I've done in-depth analysis, and it's leading me to a quicker bear market cycle. All right, gonna dive down here, guys. That was a very long explanation. Gonna dive down here to the bottom. So Christina has an imminent trading question, which is what the Power Hour is built for here. Good job, Christina. ONT. I don't even know what that is. ONT Bitcoin. Thank you for putting a chart and a time frame. You get the question of the day. Could be putting in a cup with handle, she says. So this is a little low for a handle, to be quite honest with you. I do see what you're referring to. And overall, it's not bad. Overall, it's not bad. A little low for a handle, but I'm not super mad at that. I like the volume here. You definitely have a cupish type of scenario. Even a pretty decent little bottoming candle, although this looks like it was selling, not really buying. Weak buying on the way up, though. I'm not a fan of this. Not a fan of this action. Strong selling, weak buying. But overall, yeah. Overall, it looks like a cup with handle. If you do want to take a trade, I would let the handle play out for a little bit longer. Find yourself a point. Let's dive down a little deeper. Let's go to the 15-minute chart here. So you have your cup. It looks a little nicer on the 15-minute. A little nicer on the 15-minute. This is, like I said, a little low for a handle. A handle typically should break the upward trend. We're not quite there yet. So we still could continue up to continue to make the right side of the cup. Um, we're not really necessarily breaking this trend to form a handle. Like I said, it's a little low for a handle. The volume would indicate that this is handle territory, though. The volume would indicate that. So you're going to want to pick a trend line to buy off of. Also, you're going to want to find a very natural stop. And when you find that natural stop, you're going to want to trade as close to that as you can. The problem with that is it's a balance between buying too early, which you never want to do. You never want to buy with early. You always want to buy on the breakout. So let's take this as the handle, for example. What you would do in this, like if this was the handle and it was a little higher, what you could do is draw your trend line here like so, okay, touching all of these tops. And then what you would notice is two reversal candles here with two hammers. And then, you know, this candle may have gotten you in, and you have a natural stop right down here. So that's a good trade for this. You want to look for something like that. And that's what the Real Crypto Power Hour is for. So Ben says, my views have been down because people are leaving the market. I think that too. But I also think that they just don't like to hear that Bitcoin's going to fall. It just doesn't, they don't like it, so they leave. Could Bitcoin cycle accelerate to rebound this spring or summer? Well, I think it'll rebound by spring or summer according to my current analysis, yes. And very true, Christina. I had that thought as well. Although, to be honest with you, I do want to help those that are less educated. I don't just want to stick to professionals. I do want to help those that are less educated. Francisco says, I want your honest opinion on where the price is going to be in 1 month or 2 months. In 2 months, I have us down there towards those lows, actually. So in 2 months, we're getting really far down there towards, I don't have a level. I really don't have a level. But, I mean, to be quite frank with you, we have this trend line. I don't think we can sustain this, but if we do sustain this trend line, wow. All I got to say is wow. I wouldn't expect this aggressive of a sell-off. I would expect, I guess the fact that this was so aggressive leaves room for this to be as aggressive. Does that make sense? So if you take this trend line and follow it, this can lead you down to a specific, time point. So Turtle asks, how fast is your quicker? I don't remember exactly. I remember saying quicker, but I don't remember in relation to what. If you could make that a little more pointed question, be happy to answer it. How long do I estimate the bear market to last based on what you just said? Well, if you can take this trend line, did Bitcoin just break? Oh, Bitcoin just broke. Bam. So remember I mentioned mini bear flag? That's what I meant by mini bear flag. That's exactly what I meant by mini bear flag. Just broke said mini bear flag, looking at the next move down right now. So my ideal Real Crypto Power Hour will be looking at 15-minute charts with you guys for right now, looking to time these. That would be my ideal Real Crypto Power Hour. So AJ says, most tubers gas, they are I told you so when things go their way, but silent when it doesn't. Does that apply to me, AJ? I'm not sure if that applies to me or not. And Bitcoin going down. Man, I'm so upset with myself. Okay. What happened to Twitter stock today? Armit asks. I don't know. Last time I saw it was going up. Good stuff's happening to Twitter stock. That's what's happening. Okay. Having said that, Johnny B, having said that, since a long time now, there's been absolutely no interest from people to buy Bitcoin at higher prices. We get there and people either sell or just wait. Yes, Johnny, which creates bear markets. Which actually continues bear markets, actually. Randy, I know you're more of a chart guy mainly, but I know you understand blockchain tech for the most part. Just curious, have you looked at Hashgraph Tech? I don't believe there's a coin on it yet. I have not looked at Hashgraph Tech, nor have I even heard of that particular coin. So sorry, Jared, I don't have a great opinion for you there. VeChain, please. I'm in good profit on this and want to be long-term investment, but if given possible market crash, should I exit? Sorry, that was read very, very... Looks like Johnny B's got a good profit. Go away. On VeChain. And he wants to know if he should take those profits. So it looks like VeChain is in a base right here. Come on, mouse. I have a trackball mouse from Logitech, the M570. I like the trackball, but the buttons are just trash. Every time I push a button, it like double clicks and doesn't click. Yeah, so this is putting in a base right here. Looks like it wants to continue higher. I would let this go. I would keep this to the long side, especially if you already have a profit. You see the volume signature here. We're down on the 2 hour. See the volume signature here. Just this biggest bar here is going to kind of rule the roost in this time frame. And you have declining volume with the price staying higher. I would let it go. You should have a stop. I don't know, wherever you're comfortable. If you like your profit level, that's going to be difficult because you're going to be disappointed as it drops. If you're okay with it dropping a little bit, let's see what it's done in the past here. So each coin behaves a little differently. See, this one can whip around and really cut in deep. So in the end, though, Johnny, I think this will go down. I can't say. It's hard to say if it's going to have another leg. It could have another leg. You could have a point where, see, there's a stupid mouse again. It could bounce up into this trend line. You see it's got those 2 points there. You could bounce up into that. It doesn't have to, however. So it's pretty hard to say right now, buddy. If you have good profit and you're happy with it, you can take it. But it does look like it can continue. I say can continue. It doesn't have to, but it can. Not my favorite chart. I have a real hard time sometimes trading, with really choppy action. So if you want to stay with it to a specific point, other than that, I would just take profits. If you're really happy with your profits, I would just take the profits. But it can continue. It looks like it may have some limited upside, though. That's kind of, I guess, the gist of it. So as you can see, so this would be your potential target. Like if it got up here, I would definitely sell. But right here, you're in a base. If AirSwap slightly retraces now, will resistance form? AST, thank you for a very specific question. That's what the power hour is for. Michael C. Okay. Oh yeah, AST. Oh yeah. Someone was trading this in my chat room. They were talking about AST. I'm like, how'd you find out about AST? Apparently, this is a pump from a YouTuber. But it looks like it has. Oh, this is a 2 hour chart. That's good. Let's zoom out and see what we're doing. Whoa. Okay, so AST all the way back down to the breakout point. I've seen this happen a lot of times now. I think I mentioned this in my last video that NEM came all the way down to the December breakout point. And we've seen this again in AST. We've seen this in more and more coins now, is that they're all retracing these moves completely. And you're seeing that in the not so high quality coins. If you notice, I think I did in my video, I looked at NEO. And NEO did not do a full retracement. It's up still 100% from its breakout point. These types of coins that are of less quality, these coins are the ones that retrace all the way back. Now, in terms of here, are you looking to set up resistance at the 316 sat range? Okay, so right here. Yes, well, that would be support. I think you're thinking about support. And yes, that looks like that could be a line of support. That could be a line of support. Thank you for not being artificially bullish. You're welcome. What is leverage on BitMEX? Leverage is where you can trade with more money than you have in your account. Are there any signs of recovery on ETH against Bitcoin? Seems like is diving long and continuously like Neo. I haven't noticed that. I usually don't look at ETH against Bitcoin. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe that's something I should address. No, there's no sign of recovery here. This doesn't look like it's recovering. This looks great, though. That looks fantastic. Can you give us some insight in Tron? Is it a good long-term investment? Everyone thinks about long-term investment in cryptos. Tron will be a good long-term investment when it finally breaks all the way down to December lows. So Tron right now is putting in a very flat sideways bottom, and it's reminding me of a coin called EOS that had some similar price behavior towards the middle of last year, and that coin just proceeded to crash into nothing. So I personally, this chart looks to me like Tron's just going to continue lower. Ooh, Ethereum lost to 200 one day just now. Yikes. Mohammed's in 90% cash now, waiting for Bitcoin to cycle to go to all-time highs to begin purchasing alts. Now we're at 41% Bitcoin dominance. When will be a good time to buy? I don't do the whole Bitcoin dominance thing. That's not something I follow, to be honest with you. I think it's a very arbitrary view of the cryptocurrency market, seeing how Bitcoin is the largest market cap and how so many altcoins come to market. You know, the altcoin market has exploded, and I think that reduces Bitcoin's dominance arbitrarily. Ben, my videos should not depress you, my friend. My videos should have you grinning. Should have you grinning, because if we get Bitcoin 2600, my friend, you're gonna be like mortgaging the house. I'm thinking about it. I'm honestly thinking about mortgaging my frickin' house. Like literally contemplating it, which is a horrible move. It's a horrible decision. That's such a bad decision if I choose to do that. But, guys, imagine that. $100,000. $100,000 in additional money in Bitcoin at 2,600. Let's do the math. Here, let's talk people into mortgaging their house right now. 100,000 divided by 2,600 is 34 Bitcoins. Okay, 34 Bitcoins. So, if we get to 20,000, back to new old highs, $769,000. I'm not mad at that. $769,000 when it gets to 20,000, when it gets back to 20,000. Now, obviously, I think it's going to go. I'm trying to add to my short. It won't let me. Come on, GDAX. Is this literally my browser telling me I can't short anymore? GDAX is literally kicking back orders. Too many people are trying to sell or short whatever right now. I'm so fucking mad at myself. Anyway, yeah, that's what makes me want to mortgage my house. Hey, my order got filled. Looks like people are buying again. Great. Eek. All right, dropping down here. Let's see what we get here. Sid asks why I'm mad at myself. So this is why I'm mad at myself. This is therapy for me right now. This is therapy for me right now. So all day yesterday we had this low choppy action. First resistance broken Bitcoin, more like the 97th resistance broken Bitcoin. We've had resistance since 20,000. It's been breaking. That's not new news. No, I expected Bitcoin to break yesterday, and I had so many positions that didn't go my way. I chopped myself out of the market, to be quite frank with you, and I had a short up here. Basically, the lesson here is that you need to learn from your mistakes, and for me, it's widening my stop. For me, it's widening my stop. I need to widen my stop to allow for the full market move. To allow for the full market move. What coins would you choose today if you had 20,000 to invest? I wouldn't invest anything right now. I'd invest nothing right now. The only thing I would do is maybe attempt to short some Bitcoin. That's kind of the only thing that you can really do right now. Unless you want to do real active trading. Real active trading. What stops do you use for shorting? I don't know what that means. I use what apparently my stops are too small. My stops are too small is what it boils down to. I'm trading on BitMEX with 25 times leverage, so if I leave a wide berth, I lose a massive amount of my portfolio. And so I have to keep my stops tighter. But I'm thinking that I need to sit down for a couple hours and redo some homework based on my trading yesterday. Do I still believe the flippening will happen this year? No, not anymore. Ethereum has switched to moving with Bitcoin. It is no longer moving against Bitcoin. It is no longer moving against Bitcoin. So I don't think it's going to happen. That hypothesis was based on the fact that Ethereum was trading counter to Bitcoin earlier to February. So I don't think that's going to happen anymore. ICX. Do you have a specific question there, Terrence? Come on, Youssef. Is $10 the real number? If that's a lot to you, Youssef, then I think you should sell. GW asks, would you start buying Bitcoin and dollar cost averaging? Dollar cost averaging doesn't work. So no. All right, about 10 minutes left in the power hour, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get those very pointed questions with, we had a good question that wrote out the pair, the time frame, the pattern, what they were talking about. That was a great question. Let's get some more like that. Let's get very specifics. What do I think of ICX? Little less questions like that, a little more pointed questions. My take on the NEO project is good. I would probably not be buying NEO, however. Ronnie Giles asked, do you think we'll get back to 20K in 2018? No. I think it'll happen in 2019. How low do I think Bitcoin will fall today? That's hard to say, and I guess that depends on your time frame too. I don't know, maybe 8,000, 7,000, something like that. You know, so usually these moves kind of coincide with each other. I'm on my wrong screen. So a lot of times these moves go in time and in amplitude, okay? So we can consider this trend line right there. If you want to consider this as your trend line, then you have a time to the bottom, which is approximately 2.5 days from now or so. Would I recommend shorting Bitcoin if it closes below 8,300 support? I am already short Bitcoin. You should have shorted Bitcoin on the break of this flag. You may get, if you're shorting at 8,300, you could expect a whipsaw back up to this flag. Okay? You can't possibly expect a Bitcoin up to this flag. So why is Litecoin going up? Is Litecoin going up? I mentioned in my last video it was kind of, and it's not going up. Yeah, it's going to sell off with Bitcoin like everything else. Everything else, just look at Bitcoin. Just look at Bitcoin. But yeah, shorting below 8,300. Look, I think Bitcoin's going to 6,000. Just make sure you have wide enough stops to allow for the market to move if you're going to short it down that low. Would mining be better right now? I think mining is always good. It's always good to do work. And mining is work. So if you want to work on the blockchain, go work on the blockchain. That's perfectly fine. Is Bitcoin forming a head and shoulders? If you look at the 4-hour chart, it's slanted, falling head and shoulders. Would that be technically valid? Great question. I'm sure I can view it on a 2-hour chart. So you're looking at this thing right here. No, it's not a valid head and shoulders. It would not be a valid head and shoulders. I see what you're saying, but no. Omisego Bitcoin, what do we need to break to go up? I like Omisego. I think I'm biased towards Omisego because I caught most of that run. So let's go to the dollar. Let's take a dollar in Bitcoin. Eek. Yeah, Omisego is not going up at all. Although usually when I say that in Omisego at these lows, it tends to have a little bit of a bounce, that being said. It doesn't need to break a level. It needs to break a psychological indicator, basically called people are buying it. No one's buying it. The volume's really low. That can continue for quite some time, probably will. And I think it's just going to continue lower. This kind of looks like what I call a ninja star pattern. Not a good pattern. Ninja stars are not good. And it's just, yeah, don't buy that. Armit, AMD, are you referring to the stock or is there a crypto called AMD, Armit? If you're going to mention a stock, that's fine, but just tell me it's a stock. Annette, you're just getting into crypto. Is a good time to buy Bitcoin and hold. No, it is not, Annette. Now is a great time for you to get educated, learn about market cycles. To be quite frank with you, go take my market cycles webinar. It's 22 bucks. I'm sorry, yes, there's a fee for some knowledge. It's 22 bucks. Go watch that and you will have a bit of an insight into how markets work generally. Generally, it is not a good time to buy and hold. This is a time to learn. It's time to get educated. This is a time to learn. This is a time to learn the craft of trading or investing. Even if you're going to invest, you should gain knowledge. Okay, you should gain knowledge even if you're going to invest. It's not all about trading, ladies and gentlemen. It's not all about trading. Believe it or not, I view my trading as an investment. So, show some examples of bear flag. I completely lost where I was. I didn't think I was that far down or up. There you go. Show some examples of a bear flag. Well, there's a huge example of a bear flag. This is a bear flag. This is a very standard, very textbook bear flag. A bear flag has a downward movement with a channel of action, usually in an upward trajectory. It can also be horizontal. Typically not a channel to the downside, although it does happen. I mean, this is the only example you need to look at. This is textbook. This is what you put in the textbook. Can you be my financial advisor? Not legally. I legally can't be your financial advisor, but I like helping people out with finances and stuff. Send me an email, and Randy at Real Crypto. Don't mind chatting with you. Can you sell $700,000 in an exchange in the U.S. to your bank directly? No, I would probably have to do a home equity loan or line of credit and withdraw that as cash and then just buy it through Coinbase and just pay a stupid amount of money as a fee. So I don't think I can. Nikki asks, why is crypto crashing? Nikki, the overall answer to that is because we are in a bear market, and in a bear market, that's what assets do in a bear market. They go down in value. They go down in value. If you want to know why we're going down in value, you should go back, and I have 2 videos that I posted back to back. One about the psychology of Bitcoin, one about Bitcoin 2600. Go ahead and watch both of those, and you'll be a little more educated into why we're crashing. And for those of you that don't want to do that, don't ask questions like that. Is this another Mt. Gox sale? Don't know, don't care. The market's doing what the market's doing. Doesn't matter why. You just go with it. You have to understand what the market's doing. Okay? The market, you're looking at the chart, guys. The chart's not looking at you. Does that make sense? You have to take what's going on in the chart as gospel, because it is. What about BitShares coin? Will it go up anytime soon? I'm not sure. I doubt it. When do I think Ethereum will get to 1,000 again? Not for a long time. I don't have a specific. I'd have to do a decent amount of analysis. I don't really have the time right now. So I'm going to answer these questions, ladies and gentlemen. Then we're going to be done with the Real Crypto Power Hour. Keep in mind, we will be doing this every day this week, and then starting next week, we'll be doing a premium service. The Real Crypto Power Hour will be a premium service through my website, and we will be talking very pointed trading questions, preferably. But if you really, whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever's going to help you succeed in the market right now or in the future is really what we're going to be talking about. But this is it's really pointed to helping people succeed in the market. Usually that's trading or getting out of a bad trade or getting into a good trade or talking about a specific trading strategy, understanding how to trade. All that is fair game in the Real Crypto Power Hour. Okay, HODL Tether. You can HODL Tether unless Tether falls apart. So if you guys have an option to go to fiat, if you want to step to the side, go to fiat. Don't HODL Tether. You would put pressure. You put pressure on Tether when you do that. Do I think there's a good price? Do you think it would be good to buy into the dip for Bitcoin? No. So Muhammad looks like his entry in Ethereum was at $1,000. Hey guys, the Real Crypto Power Hour is about helping you. If you give me information, I can help you. If you don't give me information, it's hard to help. It's like a doctor. I'm like a doctor. Yeah, I need all the information or I really can't give you a good diagnosis. You bought it 1,000. I would... Come on, stupid mouse. Switch to my other mouse. So we have these spike lows down here towards this $550 area. If you want to give it down to that 550, you could, but your sell point really was up here at the 800 level. That was really your sell point when we broke down from this. This really changed the trend in Ethereum. Not that it wasn't down already. You're at a very bad spot here, so I would be very defensive. I'd be very defensive. Personally, I would just take the loss and be damned what happened, because a 40% loss is very hard to come back from. So if you don't need the money, if you just want to hold it for a long time, maybe you can do that, guys. But we're in a bear market. Holding these bags is not healthy. So Dutch says, I'm new to... So first, I'm sorry, Amal says, what is shorting? Shorting is where you literally borrow a coin from someone, you sell it up here, say for 1,300, you buy it back, say at 795, and you give that coin back to the individual and you pocket the difference. That's the definition of shorting. I'm new here, I love your channel, I'm down 35 on my total portfolio. Hold it or sell, you do not need the money. Well, needing the money or not may or may not come into it, you know. It depends on your risk tolerance and if you're willing to be down 70%. Are you willing to be down 70% in that before you bottom? Okay, that's pretty much what it is. I also don't know what you're invested in there, Dutch investor. If you're invested in a bunch of small altcoins, just get rid of them. Get rid of small, non-quality coins. Doesn't dollar cost averaging protect you from paying too high a price? I was surprised to hear you say it doesn't work. Can you explain why you feel that way? Yeah, sure. So dollar cost averaging is when you buy something and then you continue to buy it as it goes lower. Okay? What you're doing there is adding to a losing position. You're adding to a losing position. So let me ask you this. If you were to take a credit card and if they said the more you bought, the less interest will charge you, would you spend more on that credit card? That's kind of a way to look at it. Because while you may have an anticipation that price can come back, and it may, the price may come back. The price may come back. I mean, don't get me wrong. If coins go up, everybody wins, and dollar cost averaging seems fantastic. But if the coin never comes back, all you're doing is adding to a losing position. Okay? Now, I think Bitcoin in time will come back. At the same time, if you bought at each of these dips, 10,000, 9,000, 6,000, 8,000, your average is like 9,000. Or actually, you'd be a little bit higher. So maybe it's 10,000. Maybe your average is 10,000. You know, you're still down 20%. That's a huge loss. 20% is a massive amount of money. So dollar cost averaging basically keeps you in losing positions for longer, which is why it doesn't work. Okay, now look, if Bitcoin rallies up to 20,000, you're going to go, yeah, Randy, haha, dollar cost averaging works, F you. No, it's not that dollar cost averaging works. It's that holding for extraordinarily long periods of time work. Okay, that dollar cost averaging as a strategy is flawed. And the only people that believe dollar cost averaging actually works are people that want to hold your money for years and want you to invest for years, like mutual funds. They want you to dollar cost average because they take 1% of your money every year. So it behooves them to hold your money for 30 years. So Craig says, unfortunately, I think peeps listening to you might not realize you're a day trader, which is different from buying on dips now and holding. Believe it or not, I'm not a day trader. Believe it or not, I'm not a day trader. What I do is I do short-term trading in bear markets. In bullish markets, I like to hold. I actually have a strategy that I've already put together in my trading course, which walks you through how to buy Bitcoin at 250 and how to sell it at 17,000. I have there's a strategy to that. And that is a strategy that I will employ when Bitcoin finally bottoms. So I am not a day trader, but I know the rules to trading and investing. And I can trade on any time frame, and I will trade on whatever time frame is healthy to trade in. How long do I expect the bear market to last? I think, according to my analysis, it should last Only a few more months. I think it'll only last a few more months, the ultimate low in the bear market. That doesn't mean we skyrocket back up to 20,000, but that does mean that we don't go precipitously lower from there. We probably enter a new phase of the market called a choppy market, and then we'll go from there. When we will see an all-time high, the next time we pass 20,000. So I didn't say holding doesn't work, Chicks Dig Crypto. If you actually listen to me, what I said is that dollar cost averaging doesn't work, but holding for very long periods of time works. Okay, I do believe holding Bitcoin can work. I do believe that. What I don't believe in is people buying Bitcoin at 15,000. This is what happens, okay? I've been trading for a long time, talked to a lot of traders, a lot of people that used to trade that don't anymore, and this is what happens. Uneducated people buy something and then forget about it and then come back and it's at a much lower price and then they sell it at a steep loss, okay? I say this time and time again on my channel. If your strategy is to hold Bitcoin for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I'm not going to talk you out of your strategy. As long as you have a definitive strategy that you are going to follow, okay? But we have a lot of people that are new to the market that talk about hodl, but they're not true hodlers, but they don't realize it yet. What I like to ask people is, hey, if Bitcoin goes down to $4,000, are you comfortable with that? And are you going to hold? If your answer is yes, great. That's fantastic. What I want you to do is be true to yourself, okay? I don't want you guys to subscribe to my strategy. I don't want you to subscribe to exactly how I trade because you can't trade exactly how I trade. And I can't trade exactly how you trade. Our minds work differently. We have different risk-reward processes in our brain. Okay, we have slightly different risk rewards. If you think about it, 30,000 years ago, if you think about 30,000 years ago, we're sitting there on the, wherever you're sitting, and a tiger's coming at you. All right, and you have a group of 10 people. Each 10 of those people are going to react differently to that situation. One is going to turn around and bolt. One is going to pick up a stick and fight. One's going to panic and not know what to do. So, everyone's different. So I don't try to teach people how to trade my strategy. What I do is try to teach you how to trade how you should trade. Okay? And what that means is that you need to understand if you're a hodler, and if you're a hodler, great, hodl. Okay? But I don't believe hodlers should yell at other people to hodl because they may not view it that way. They may not have the money to spend. Maybe they put money in that they can't afford to lose, and so they're going to panic sell. So, anyways, guys, Mark says I'm a noob. This noob's going to get out of here right now. We're running a little long in the Real Crypto Power Hour, no problem. So, thank you very much for joining me. S asks, how long will you hodl Bitcoin? I don't hodl. That's not in my personality type. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today for the Real Crypto Power Hour. We will do it again tomorrow, 9 to 10 Pacific Standard Time. Have a good day. Be safe. Have stops. If you want to hodl. I don't believe in dollar cost averaging, but if you did, there's going to be lower dollar costs to be averaged. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a good day. I will see you next time.